What's on, guys? Welcome back to the TR7 Skate YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going back onto the mini ramp. We're going to be doing a tutorial together, Harry and myself, and it's the 5-0 to Fakie. So we're going to be doing it stalling, which is better known as a mayday, and we're going to be doing it grinding, which is just the 5-0 to Fakie. So I'm going to be going over the stall, the mayday, because I've always been a bit scared of doing the grind. We're going to leave that to Harry. But to start with, the stall, just like some of our other mini ramp tutorials, because you don't want to be grinding across the coping, you want to be keeping it still. That means when you come into it, you want to make sure you come in as straight as possible. You don't want to come in at an angle, come straight up the ramp, and that's going to help you hold it nice and still. But you're coming in nice and straight. The next thing you want to be thinking about is how you're going to be stood up in that 5-0 fakie. So just like Harry's tutorial with the backside 5-0, the lock-in on the truck is super important, and you want it so that you've only got one wheel up on top like that. You don't want to go too far on, or it's going to make it very hard to bring it all the way back in. If you've only got that one wheel on, then it's very easy to just shuffle it back in like that. So it's important that you always lock on this side of the truck. The next thing you're going to want to think about, and this is probably the main part of this trick, is the rest of your body, mainly your shoulders in particular, because if you come into it like a 5-0 and turn with it and come all the way around to here, it's going to be very difficult to then bring it all the way back round to land to fakie. So the key when you're coming into it is as you turn your legs, you want to keep your arms and shoulders straight as they were at the beginning, so that they're ready to bring it all the way back in nice and straight. A really good way to practice this one, if you're a bit nervous about trying it up on the coping, is try it lower down at the bottom of the ramp like this. The more comfortable you get with that movement, the more natural it's going to feel when you do it nearer the top. So you can work your way up step by step and just get really used to that, because the shoulders are probably the most important part of this trick. You need to make sure that they stay pointing straight the whole time. You don't want to be turning them. Now we want to think about landing it. Now landing it is all about bringing it back in without letting it hang up on the coping. So something you want to get really comfortable with is doing the fakie manual down the ramp, which is going to feel a bit weird at first, but again, there's plenty of ways of practicing it in a nice, safe way. So the best way that I find to do it is get really comfortable pushing your trucks over the top and bringing them back in, like doing a rock fakie, but without actually doing the rock. So it should look something like this. That is quite an unnatural feeling thing to do if you've not done it before, but that's all the more reason to practice that before trying to get the grind or the stall to lock in position. If you're comfortable bringing the board back in on just 2 wheels, then that's already half the battle. Then you just need to make sure your shoulders are in the sweet spot and it should all start coming together. The best way to approach this trick, just like the blunt fakie, is to try and get in and get out as quick as you can. You don't want to come up into 5-0 and stand here for a few seconds thinking about going back in, because not only is it going to make it really scary, but it does make it a lot harder to control the board. So if you come up into this 5-0 and you stand here for too long, the best thing to do is just step off and try it again. You want to do it nice and quickly. The final thing you want to think about with this stall, and probably with the grind as well, is you don't want to be stood right up on top like you maybe do for other tricks like the backside 5-0. For this one, you want to be in the ramp the whole time, because that's going to help you bring it back in. So make sure you keep your shoulders and your head this side of the coping. Don't let them come all the way up to here, because dropping in fakie from here It's super scary, but also super dangerous. It's very easy to mess it up if you're stood right up on top. If you're already in the ramp, it's going to feel a lot more natural. It is a very scary trick at first, just like the blunt fakie, it's the same sort of thing, but once you get the hang of it, they're super fun and you will get more and more comfortable with them over time. So that's it for the 5-0 stall to fakie, also known as the Mayday. Now I'm going to pass you over to Harry and he's going to talk you through how to do the same trick, but grinding instead of stalling.
So changing this Mayday stall into a Mayday grind is slightly simple. It's obviously going to be hard to learn to nicely hold that grind, but the first thing you got to change is just your approach. Instead of going straight up the ramp, you want to be coming in with a bit of angle and going up so that your angle will then carry you along this grind. So once you've changed your approach into this trick, you're going to be coming up with this bit of angle and it's going to make you grind across the coping when you lock into that 5-0. You want to be locked in the exact same place as with the stall because that's going to be your nice pinch point. You can hang your heels over the edge of the coping a little bit on this side just to steady yourself. But you want that exact same lock with the one wheel. I know it's not a lot to be grinding on, but you'll find once you start getting the hang of that Mayday, it is quite a nice point for the board to pinch into, and it will hold quite nice, especially if you keep those shoulders locked in, ready to come in backwards. Just like Chaz was saying, this is the most important bit about this trick because you're gonna have to bring yourself back in, so you do not want to be facing this way into the ramp, because it's going to be really hard to pull it back to fakie. If you're in there grinding along and your shoulders are locked like this, ready to come back in, it's going to be so much easier when you do get to that point. So with this trick, you've got to make sure really that when you're coming along in this 5-0, you don't let yourself come to a stop before you come in. If it's a very little stop, it might feel natural and it'll be all right, but generally it's going to feel a lot nicer if you come along all the way and then just pull it in as you're still moving. This is going to make the trick flow a lot nicer. It's going to make it come back in a bit easier because you've got that momentum, but it is going to be quite scary and a little bit hard to get that push to bring yourself in, but once you get through it, you'll be doing it all the time. I would strongly suggest making sure you've got the Mayday stall solidly down and you can pull it in nice and easy before you go for the grind, because it's just going to make it a lot easier if you know that motion. So to get used to this grind, if you are fully comfortable doing the Mayday stall, I'd start by just trying to do a little bit of angle as you come up. So you do a little grind and then pull it back in. And then slowly, as you get more and more comfortable, add a bit more speed, a bit more angle, and try hold that 5-0 as much as you can on that pinch, because then you can just control it. And the more you get used to it, the easier it'll be to go longer and longer. And then as long as you've got those shoulders locked, you'll be able to pull it back into fakie every time. Thanks for coming to watch today, everybody. I hope this tutorial helped you to learn this Mayday stall and this Mayday grind. Go out and try it. It's always worth a go. You never know, you might surprise yourself. You might find it easier than you think. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a comment in the section below. We love to hear feedback. If you think you've got a better way of doing it, put it in the comments as well. We just want a load of comments. Thanks for coming to watch. If you like this video, click subscribe and hit the little bell, and you'll always be the first to see our new ones. Thanks again. Have a good rest of your day. See you later.